Wednesday forum. You might say program tea. My mother, you know, the late Marcella Dowd, pioneer culture leader. She came here by Austin as a child, and she founded the Wednesday forum. Myrtle, how many would you say?
75 at least. Say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is a soloist, accompanied by William McCurdy, accompanist.
Come on. Miss Tewksbury's almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
What if they don't give her a lot of applause?
I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say that I am entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. What color would you call that?
Rancher Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle May Simmons looked charming in a modest Rancher Rose tone crepe, picked up at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. Oh, I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby.
Mother, please. She's almost finished. Where's the cateress?
Everything's ready. The minute she's finished singing, we open the dining room doors and begin pouring. The parlors and halls are festooned with smilelights. Yes, festooned. That's right. Yes, Miss Ellerby. This is the first party we've had in years. There's a reason, but I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Miss Ellerby. The guest list? Oh, yes.
Mother, come.
If you'll excuse me now, Miss Ellerby, I'll call you later.
Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet, she just walked in.
Oh, Mrs. Eugene Chauvenet Sr.? Her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
So that's where she got that hat.
Myrtle, you must be nice to Miss Chauvenet. She has a grandson about your age.
Oh, what difference will it make with Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle May, remember, we agreed not to talk about that this afternoon. The whole point of this party is to get you started. We work through those older women to the younger group.
We can't have anyone here in the evenings, and that's why men come to see you in the evenings. The only reason we can even have this party in the first place is because Uncle Elwood is playing Pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Thank God for the firehouse.
I don't know, but they'll just have to invite you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says. There's something sweet about every young girl. And a man takes that sweetness, and look what he does with it. Oh, you just got to meet somebody, Myrtle. That's all there is to it.
If I do, they say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle is Elwood P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. Elwood P. Dowd and his power.
You promised.
All right, let's get them into the dining room.
Now, when the members come in here and you make your little welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother, be sure to do this.
And then I'll mention a few words about my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his Uncle Harvey. Tell Harvey!
Myrtle May, that's right. Let everybody in the Wednesday forum hear you. You said that name. You promised you wouldn't say that name, and you said it.
I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know he won't come in and introduce Harvey to everybody?
It's unkind of you, Myrtle May. Elwood is the biggest heartache I have. Even if people do call him peculiar, he's still my brother, and he's going to be home this afternoon.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
But Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Must I remind you again, Elwood is not living with us. We are living with him.
Living with him and Harvey. Did Grandmother know about Harvey?
I've wondered and wondered about that. She never wrote to me if she did.
Why did she have to leave all her property to Uncle Elwood?
Well, I suppose it's because she died in his arms. People are sentimental about things like that.
You've always said that, and it doesn't make sense. She couldn't make out her will after she died, could she?
Don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's not becoming in a young girl, and men know it. Now, don't forget to wave your hand.
I'll do my best.
Oh dear, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
But not fast enough.
Lovely, Miss Tewksbury. Couldn't be lovely. I loved it.
Come right on in. How are you? Good tell? Well then, I have to answer the phone. Make yourself comfortable, Harvey. Hello. Oh, you've gotten the wrong number. But how are you anyway? This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. And what might your name be, my dear? Harvey, it's a Miss Greenwald. How are you this evening, Miss Greenwald? Yes, that's fine. I would love to join your club. I belong to quite a few clubs already. The Country Club, the University Club, and the Pinochle Club down at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. I spend a good deal of my time there, or at Charlie's Place, or Eddie's Bar. And what might your club be, my dear? Hark, I get the Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, and the Open Road for Boys for 2 years at $6.25. That sounds fine to me. I'll join. How does it sound to you, Harvey? Harvey says it sounds fine to him also. He'll join. Yes, 2 subscriptions. Mail everything to this address. I do hope I get to meet you sometime. Harvey, she says she would like to meet me too. When? When would you like to meet me? Why not right now? My sister seems to be having a few friends in, and we would consider it an honor if you would come join us. My sister would be delighted. So are you coming right over? That's very good. I hope to see you in a very few minutes, my dear. Goodbye now. She's coming right over, Harvey. Don't you think you better freshen up? Yes, so do I. There's someone I want you to meet. This is Harvey. As you can see, he's a puka. Harvey, you've heard me talk to Miss Chauvenet? We always called her Aunt Ethel. She was one of my oldest and dearest friends. Yes, this is the one. She is the one. He says he would have known you anywhere. You both look lovely. Come on in with me now, Harvey. We must say hello to all of our friends. Forgive me, Aunt Ethel, if you'll excuse me for a moment.
What?
You're standing in his way. Come along, Harvey. Oh, wait a minute. Go right on in. Join you in a minute. Autumn, I can see that you're disturbed about Harvey. Please don't be. He stares that way at everybody. It's his way. But he liked you, I could tell. He liked you very much.
Some tea, perhaps.
Well, not right now. I think I'll be running along.
I'm so sorry.
I'll be talking to you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh my God!
Mother, where are you going?
Up to my room. He's introducing Harvey to everybody. I can't face those people now. I wish I were dead.
Come back here. Stay with me. We'll get him out of there and upstairs to his room.
I won't do it. I can't.
Run away. Now, pretend I'm fixing your corsage.
Mother.
We've got to. Pretend we're having a gay little chat. Keep looking. When you catch his eye, tell me. He always comes when I call him. Now then, do you see him yet?
No, not yet. How do you do, Mrs. Cummings?
Smile, can't you? Have you no pride? I'm smiling, and he's my own brother.
Mother, people get run over by trucks every day. Why can't something like that happen to Uncle Elwood?
Burley Simmons, I'm ashamed of you. This thing is not your uncle's fault.
Who's sticking him in that pig?
That is Miss Ellerby. Keep looking, keep smiling.
Mrs. Cummings is leaving. Uncle Elwood must have told her where Harvey is. Oh, God.
Hello, this is Mrs. Simmons. Should you come in the clothes you have on? What have you on? Who is this? But I don't know Miss Greenwald. Should you what? May I ask who invited you? Mr. Dowd. Thank you just the same, but I believe there's been a mistake. Well, I never!
Never what?
One of your Uncle Elwood's friends. She asked me if she'd bring a quart of gin to the Wednesday forum.
There he is, talking to Mrs. Halsey.
Is Harvey with him?
What a thing to ask. How can I tell? How can anybody tell about Uncle Elwood?
Oh, Elwood, can I see you for a moment, dear? I promise you, your Uncle Elwood has disgraced us for the last time in this house. And I'm going to do something I've never done before.
That thing you just said just now, about this not being Uncle Elwood's fault. If it's not his fault, then whose fault is it?
Never you mind. I know whose fault it is. Now, lift up your head, smile, and go back in as if nothing had happened.
You're no match for Uncle Elwood.
You'll see.
Mother's waiting for you.
Elwood, can I see you for a moment, dear?
Yes, sister.
Elwood, would you mind sitting down here and waiting for me until the party's over? I want to talk to you. It's very important.
Of course. I happen to have some free time, and you are welcome to all of it. Do you want Harvey to wait too?
Yes, Elwood, I certainly do. Oh!
Ah, Jane Austen. Sit down, Harvey. Vita wanted to talk to us. She said it was important. I think she wants to congratulate us on the impression that we made at her party. Jane Austen, the deluxe edition. Limited Grosset and Dunlap. The usual acknowledgements. Chapter 1.
Mrs. O.R. Simmons, 343 Temple Drive, is that correct?
We were born and raised there. It's all but we like it. It's all
brother here at the sanitarium. Your brother's name?
It's...
Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
I'm sorry. Life isn't easy for any of us. I'll just have to hold up my head and go on just the same. That's what I keep telling Myrtle May. And that's what Myrtle May keeps telling me. She's heartbroken about her Uncle Elwood. Elwood P. Dowd, that's it.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47. The 24th of last April. He's Taurus. Taurus the bull. I'm Leo and Myrtle's on a cusp.
47. Is he married?
No, Elwood has never been married. He stayed with Mother. He was always a great homeboy. He loved his home.
And do you have him with you now?
He's in a taxicab down the driveway. I gave the driver $1 to watch him, but I didn't tell the man why. You can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson, would you step down to a taxicab in the driveway and ask Mr. Dowd if he would be good enough to step up from number 24, South Wing G?
Ask him.
This is his sister, Mrs. Simmons.
Why, sir, I'd be glad to escort you.
Thank you.
The rates here, Mrs. Simmons, you'll find them printed on this card.
That will be taken care of by my mother's estate. The late Marcella P. Dowd. Judge Gaffney's our attorney.
Now I'll see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Dr. Sanderson? I want to see Dr. Chumley himself.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons, Dr. Sanderson is the one who sees everybody. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
He's still head of this institution, isn't he? He's still a psychiatrist, isn't he?
He's still a psychiatrist. Dr. Chumley is more than that. He's a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever people have mental breakdowns, they at once think of Dr. Chumley.
That's his office, isn't it? Well, you march right in and tell him I want to see him. If he knows who's in here, he'll come out here.
Oh, I couldn't do that, Mrs. Simmons. I would be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't want to be pushed off onto any second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is no one's second fiddle. He's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school for very long, but Dr. Chumley tried out 12 and kept Dr. Sanderson. He's really wonderful. To the patients.
Very well. Tell him I want to see him.
Right away.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Dina, isn't this wonderful?
Wait.
Oh, dear. I didn't hear you come in. You startled me. You're Dr. Sanderson.
Yes. Will you be seated, please?
Thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumping like that all the time, but I...
Of course not. Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Dowd, is it? Elwood P. Dowd?
Yes, Doctor. He's... This isn't easy for me, Doctor.
Of course not. Naturally, these things aren't easy for the families and patients. I understand.
It's what Elwood's doing to himself, Doctor. That's the thing. Myrtle May has quite a nice friends. She's young, her whole life is before her. That's my daughter.
Your daughter. How long has it been since you noticed any peculiarities in your brother's actions?
Oh, I noticed it right away when Mother died, and Myrtle May and I came back home from Des Moines to live with Elwood. I could see that he... But he...
Any what, Mrs. Simmons? Take your time. Don't strain. Let it come. I'll wait.
Doctor, everything I say to you is confidential, isn't it?
That's understood.
Because it's a slap in the face to everything we've stood for in this community, the way Elwood is acting now.
I'm not a gossip, Mrs. Simmons. I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
To excess? Well, don't you call it excess when a man never lets a day go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns, sitting around with riffraff and people you never heard of, inviting them to the house, playing cards with them, giving them food and money. And here I am, trying to get Myrtle May started with a nice group of young people. If that isn't excess, I'm sure I don't know what excess is.
I didn't doubt your statement, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Well, yes, I said definitely Elwood drinks. And I want him committed out here permanently, because I cannot stand another day of that. Oh, Harvey! Myrtle May and I have set a place at the table for Harvey. We have to move over on the sofa and make room for Harvey. We have to answer the telephone when Elwood calls and asks to speak to Harvey. Then, at the party this afternoon with Miss Chauvenet there, we didn't even know anything about Harvey until we came back here. Oh, Doctor, don't you think it would have been a little bit kinder of Mother to have written and told me about Harvey? Be honest now, don't you?
I couldn't really answer that.
I had. It certainly would have.
Who is this Harvey?
He's a rabbit.
Well, perhaps, but just who is he? Somebody whom your brother met in one of these bars, whom you disapprove of?
Doctor, I've been telling you, Harvey's a rabbit. A big white rabbit. 6 feet high. Or is it 6 feet and a half? Heavens knows I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
So let me understand this, Mrs. Simmons. You're saying that a white
Doctor! Do I have to keep repeating myself? My brother insisted his closest friend is this big white rabbit. This rabbit's named Harvey. Harvey lives at our house. Don't you understand? He and Elwood go every place together. Elwood buys railroad tickets, theater tickets, for the both of them. As I told Myrtle May, if your uncle was so lonesome, he had to bring him something home. Why couldn't he bring home something human? He has me, doesn't he? He has Myrtle May, doesn't he? Doctor, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody in this world before. Every once in a while, I see that big white rabbit myself. Oh, now isn't that terrible? I've never even told that to Myrtle May.
Mrs. Simmons.
And what's more, he's every bit as big as Elwood says he is. Now don't ever tell it to anybody, Doctor. I'm ashamed of it.
I can tell you've been under a great deal of nervous strain recently.
Well, I certainly have.
Grief over your mother's death has depressed you considerably.
Nobody knows how much.
Been losing sleep?
How could anybody sleep with that going on?
Short-tempered over small trifles?
You just try living with those two and see how your temper holds up.
Loss of appetite?
No, eat at a table with my brother and a big white rabbit. Well, eventually, I'll sell the house, be appointed conservator of Ellen's estate, and Myrtle May and I will be able to entertain our friends in peace. It's too much, Doctor. I just can't stand it.
Of course it is, of course it is. You're tired.
Oh, yes, I am.
You've been under a great strain.
Yes, I am. I can't help it.
But now I'm going to help you.
Oh, Doctor!
Just wait here. I'll be right back.
I'll just go down to the cabin and get Elwood's things.
Why didn't anybody answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you.
I rang and I rang again. Mrs. Simmons, sound like Ellen Wilson. That poor woman must not leave the grounds. Her condition is serious. Go after her. Henry, main gate. Dr. Sanderson. Do not let anybody out the main gate. We're looking for a patient. I shouldn't have left her alone. But nobody answered the buzzer.
Wilson was himself, Doctor.
What have we available, Miss Kelly?
Number 13, upper restroom is available, Doctor.
Have her taken there immediately, and I will prescribe preliminary treatment. I must get her brother on the phone. Dowd is the name. Elwood P. Dowd.
But, Doctor, the woman said it was her brother who needed the treatment.
Oh, of course she did. It's the oldest dodge in the book, always used by a cunning type of psychopath. Apparently, she knew her brother was coming out here to commit her, so she came out first to discredit her. Please, just get Dowd on the phone.
But, Doctor, I thought the woman was all right, so I had Wilson take the brother up to room number 24, South Wing G. He's there now.
You had Wilson take the brother up? No thanks, Kelly. Please tell me you're not serious.
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. Oh, Doctor, I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, well, if you're sorry, then that makes everything better, doesn't it? Oh, no!
I'll do it, Doctor, I'll do it. Miss Dunphy, would you please unlock the door to number 24 and give Mr. Doc his clothes and...
Ask him to step out here immediately.
And ask him to step in here immediately. There's been a terrible mistake, and Dr. Sanderson wants to explain.
Explain? Apologize!
Thank heaven she hadn't put him in the hydro tub yet. She'll let him out.
Beautiful. And dumb, too. It's almost too good to be true.
Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. Judge Gaffney had called and said that Mrs. Simmons and her brother would be out here, and when she was in here... You don't have to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Don't worry, we'll squirm out of it some way.
Where are you going?
I've got to tell the chief about this. He might want to handle this himself.
He'll be furious. I know he will. He'll die, and then he'll terminate me.
Responsibility is all mine, Kelly.
Oh, no, Doctor. Tell him it was my fault.
I never mention your name, except in my sleep.
But this man Dowd.
Just keep him here, Kelly, please.
But what shall I say to him? What shall I do? He'll be furious.
Look, he'll probably be fit to be tied. But he's a man, isn't he?
I guess so. His name is Mr.
Just go into the old routine. You know, the eyes, the swish, the words. I'm immune to it, but I've seen it work on some of the patients around here. Just keep him here, Kelly. Even if you have to do a striptease.
Oh, you're wonderful, Dr. Sanderson. You're just about the most wonderful man I ever met in my life.
Shut up. How about giving me a lift here just to say?
What?
That Simmons did.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whisper. She was coming down the path, I went along too. I jumped out in front of her and I says, "Sister, this man wants to see you." Should have heard her yell. She's wacky, all right.
Take her to number 13 Upper West Room.
She's in there now, going through the dye kitchen. She's screaming and kicking like hell. I'll hold her if you'll come dress her.
Just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to stay here until Mr. Dowd comes down.
Make a stop here, would you?
You're Mr. Dowd?
Oh, indeed.
I'm Miss Kelly.
How do you know that? Let me get you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number. Don't call me at that one, because that's the old one.
Thank you. Won't you please have a chair?
I'll have two, thank you. Allow me.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to speak with you. He'll be out in just a moment. Please be seated.
After you, my dear.
Oh, thank you, but I really can't. I'm in and out all day, but you mustn't mind me. Please be seated.
After you.
Could I get you a magazine to look at?
I'd much rather look at you, Miss Kelly, if you don't mind. You really are lovely.
Well, thank you. Some people don't seem to think so.
Some people are blind. That is often brought to my attention. And now,
Mr. Dowd,
how are you?
I'm Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Chumley's assistant out here.
I'm glad to know that. How are you today, Doctor?
Well, that's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. I see you've known Miss Kelly here.
I've had that pleasure, yes.
Won't you please be seated? Because first I
After Miss Kelly.
Sit down, Kelly. Is that chair quite comfortable, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, yes. Would you care to try it?
No, thank you. Would you like an ashtray? Can we get Mr. Dowd an ashtray? Is this room too hot? Would you like me to open a window?
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson wants to know if he should open a window.
That's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life for him.
Mr. Dowd, I can see you're not the type of man to be taking a night in high-flown phrases or beating around the bush.
Is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage here. You know it, we know it. Let's lay all our cards on the table.
That certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
Best way to go in the long run. People are people no matter where you go.
That is very often the case.
And being people are therefore liable to make mistakes. Miss Kelly and I are made a mistake here this afternoon. We'd like to explain it to you.
It wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault, Mr. Dowd. It was mine.
A human family, as I said.
I find it very interesting, nevertheless. You and Miss Kelly here. This afternoon, you say?
We do hope you'll understand, Mr. Dowd.
Oh, yes. These things are often the basis of a long and warm friendship.
And the responsibility is, of course, not hers, but mine.
Your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now, if I had seen your sister first, that would be a completely different story.
Now, there you surprise me, Doctor. I think the world and all of you know, but I suppose she had seen her dead.
You must not attach any blame to your sister, Mr. Dowd. She's a very sick woman. Came in here insisting you needed treatment. That's perfectly ridiculous.
You shouldn't worry about me. I take care of myself.
Exactly, but she had already spoken to Miss Kelly, and there had been a call from your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Oh, I know him. Know his wife, too. Wonderful people.
Is there anything I can get you, Mr. Dowd?
What did you have in mind?
How about a light? Nothing. Your sister became incredibly nervous and plunged immediately into a heated tirade on your drinking.
That was Viva.
She became hysterical.
I tell her not to worry about that. I'll take care of that.
Oh, I suppose you have a drink every now and then, the same as the rest of us?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I would like one right now.
As a matter of fact, so would I. But her reaction to the whole matter of drinking was entirely too intense. Does your sister drink, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, no, not at all. I don't believe Vida has ever taken a drink.
Well, I'm going to surprise you. Because I think she has. I think she does. I think she does so constantly.
That certainly does surprise me, Doctor.
But it will not be her alcoholism that's the basis of my diagnosis. No, it's much more serious than that. It's when she began talking so passionately about this big white rabbit named Harvey. Yeah, I believe she called him Harvey.
That is his name, yes.
She claimed you were persecuting her with this Harvey.
She should feel that I'm persecuting her with Harvey. Now, before we go any further...
Let me make my point first, Dad. This problem of your sister's, it didn't stem up overnight. It comes from trauma.
Trauma?
From trauma, spelled T-R-A-U-M-A. It means shock. Nothing unusual about it. There is, of course, the birth trauma, the trauma of being born.
That's the one we never get over.
You have a nice sense of humor, Dad. Doesn't mean it's coming.
Yes, Doctor.
May I say the same about both of you?
To sum it all up, your sister's condition is very serious. But I can help her. She must, however, remain out here in our care temporarily.
I've always wanted Vida to have everything she needs. But I wouldn't want her to stay out here unless she liked it out here and wanted to be here.
Of course. Miss Kelly, did Wilson get what he went after?
Yes, Doctor.
And how was Mrs. Simmons' reaction?
Not unusual, Doctor.
Mr. Dowd, if this was something reflected on the memory picture, in other words, if she was hallucinating something she had seen once, that would be one thing. But it stands to reason. Nobody has ever seen a white rabbit 6 feet high.
Not very often, Doctor.
I like you, Dad.
I like you too. And Miss Kelly here. I like her too.
Now, your sister must be committed out here temporarily. Under these circumstances, I would commit my grandmother.
Does your grandmother drink?
No, it's merely an expression. Now, if you could please sign these temporary commitment papers as next of kin, just as a formality.
I think you better have Vida do that. She does all the signing and managing for the family.
We can't disturb her now.
Maybe I better talk to Judge Gaffney then.
Oh, explain it to him later. Tell him I advised you. It isn't as if you can stop here any time and visit your sister. When would you like to come back? Wednesday, say? Friday, say?
You and Miss Kelly have been so nice to me. I could come back right after dinner, about an hour.
Well, we're pretty busy around now. Maybe after work?
I'm not doing anything right now. Not very hungry either.
Oh, delighted to have you stay, but Miss Kelly and I really should be getting on upstairs now. Plenty of work to do. But I'll tell you what we might like to do.
What might I like to do?
We don't normally do this, but just so that you know in your mind that your sister is in good care here, why don't you take a look around the place? If you go down that hallway and make a right, you'll find the conservatory, the library, and the dyed kitchen.
I think for Vita's sake, I better do that.
Very well then. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Dad.
It's been a pleasure meeting you and Miss Kelly.
And I must say that for a layman, you've shown an unusually acute perception of psychiatric problems.
Is that so, Doctor? I never thought I knew anything about it. Nobody does, do you think?
Well, a good psychiatrist is not found under every bush.
You have to pick the right bush. Since you've all had such a good time out here today, why don't we keep right on? I would like to invite you and Miss Kelly to come downtown with me now and have a drink.
Oh, we're pretty busy, so give us a range here. Some other time we're glad to.
When?
Couldn't really say. Miss Kelly and I don't get off work till 10 o'clock.
Let's go to Charlie's at 10 o'clock tonight then.
Well,
And you, Miss Kelly?
Dr. Chumley doesn't approve of members of the staff fraternizing. Since you've been so kind, perhaps we could manage it?
I'll pick you up out here in a cab at 10 o'clock tonight, and the four of us will spend a happy evening together. There's a friend of mine I want both of you to meet. You say later on, so later on it will be. Goodbye now.
Now I can breathe again.
Oh, that was a close shave, all right. That man is proud. What he has to be proud of, I have no idea. I played up to that pride. You get to almost anybody if you want to.
Dr. Sanderson, you say you can get to almost anybody if you want to. How do you do that?
Oh, it takes years of study and practice, Miss Kelly. But there is one thing I like about this Dowd business.
What's that?
Having to make that date with him. Of course, he's left as good a friend and booster of the sanitarium. So I guess I'll go with him, but you don't have to go.
Oh,
No point in it. I'll go, sit with him, have a few drinks, pat him on the back, and then leave. Besides, I've got a date tonight anyway.
Oh yes, by all means. I didn't intend to go anyways. The idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere again. I wouldn't have gone if my life had depended on it.
What's the matter with you, Kelly? What are you getting so emotional about?
He may be a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knows how to act. His manners were perfect.
Oh, I saw you giving him that dull puss stare. Don't think I missed that.
He wouldn't sit down till I sat down. He told me I was lovely, and he called me dear. I would go out to have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Oh, sure you would. And look at him. All he does is hang around bars. He doesn't work. All that corny standing and bowing and getting up out of his chair every time a woman makes a move. Why, he's as outdated as a cast iron deer. Oh, but you'd sit with him and let him compliment you. Oh, you're a wonderful girl, Miss Kelly.
Now let me tell you something. You sat.
Dr. Sanderson! Go!
Yes, Doctor.
Tell the gardener to put more carefully around my prized dahlias and that they'll be ready for trimming.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, and that business with the woman who had that big white rat, has that been smoothed over?
Yes, I talked to her brother. It was quite reasonable about the whole thing.
You know, I've had many patients in my day who have seen animals, but never with a patient that had an animal just quite that large.
You call him Harvey.
Yes, Harvey, an unusual name for an animal of any kind. I've known many men in my day by that name, but never an animal called Harvey. This case has an interesting phase, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Right, then I will now go upstairs with you and look into this patient. It may be that we can use my formula, 977 on her, and I will help in prescribing treatment. But first, may I ask whose hat and coat are strewn about the place?
I don't know. Was it Dowd's?
He had his hat on. Perhaps it belongs to one of the relatives of one of the patients?
Here, give me the hat. Maybe some identification. Oh, what's this? 2 holes coming from the head.
That's strange.
Well, must be some new fad. Just put them away, hang them up, get them out of here.
Hello, Dr. Trumbull.
Ah, Wilson, there you are.
Who is it?
Fair, thank you, Wilson, fair.
Listen, somebody's gonna have to give me a hand with this sentence. We're a string jacket or something. She's terrible. Oh, forgot me, did you? Well, I got her corset off all by myself.
Look, Wilson, we're going out right now to look into this.
She's in a hydrant now. My God, I left the water running on her.
Really? Remember your promise? Hello, Dr. Sanderson. Will you have forgotten Dr. McClure's cocktail party? We promised them faithfully.
Yes. Look, I have to go upstairs now and look into the patient. I'll be down in just a minute.
For a quick little diagnosis, Billy. We don't want to be late to the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
I'm happy to know that. My name is L.P. Down. Let me get you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number. Don't call me at that one because that's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
What did you have in mind?
Well, you seem to be looking for someone.
I am. I'm looking for Harvey. I went off without him.
Harvey, is he a patient here?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Does he work here?
No. He's what you might call my best friend. He's also a puka. He came out here with Vita and mine this afternoon.
Well, where was he the last time you saw him?
In that chair, with his hat and his coat on the table.
There doesn't seem to be any hat and coat around here now. Perhaps he left.
Apparently, I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you just said? Puka?
Yes, that's it.
That's something new?
Oh, no. As I understand, it is something quite old.
Really? I never happened to hear it before.
I'm not too surprised at that. Neither am I until I met him. I do hope you get a chance to meet him. I'm sure he would be quite taken with you.
Oh, really? Well, it's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Not at all. If Harvey takes a liking to someone, he expresses himself quite definitely. If he's not interested, he sits there like an empty chair or an empty spot on the floor. He takes his time making up his mind about people. Choosy, you see.
Well, it's not such a bad way to be in this day and age.
Harvey is fond of my sister Vita. That's because he's fond of me, and Vita and I come from the same family. But that feeling isn't very mutual. Vita doesn't seem to care for Harvey. It's too much of a shame, isn't it, Mrs. Chumley?
I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I give up a long time ago to expect my family to like my friends. It's useless.
But we must keep trying.
There's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey has said to me once, he has said a million times, Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Mrs. Chumley,
Yes?
did you know Mrs. McElhaney's Aunt Rose is going to drop in on her unexpectedly from Cleveland this afternoon.
No, I didn't.
Neither does she. That puts you both in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know anybody named
Mrs. McElhaney lives right next door to us. Wonderful boy. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose. That's an interesting little news item that you are perfectly free to spread around.
Oh, wait.
Do you have time to come down and have a drink with me now?
Thank you very much. But I'm waiting for Dr. Chumley, and if he came down and found me gone, he'd be liable to raise... He would be irritated.
We wouldn't want that now, would we?
I'll tell you what I'll do, Helmer.
What will you do? I'm interested.
If your friend Captain Mom's still here, I'd be glad to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I would certainly appreciate that.
It's no trouble at all. I'll write down on the back of this. What would you like me to tell him if Captain Mom's still here?
Ask him to meet me downtown, if he has no other plans.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Just downtown. He knows where. Harvey knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey what?
Just Harvey.
I'll tell you what else I'll do.
What else will you do?
The doctor and I are going downtown, just both in Montview. Dr. McClure's having a cocktail party.
A cocktail party at 12 in Montview.
We'll be heading down there in a few minutes. We could give your friend a lift into town.
I hate to impose, but I certainly would appreciate that.
It's no trouble at all. Dr. McClure's having this party for his sister in Wichita.
Dr. McClure has a sister in Wichita?
You know Dr. McClure?
No.
But
Are you sure you have time to come down?
I really couldn't. Thank you just the same.
Some other time, perhaps.
Thank you.
I do hope I get to see you again. It's been a pleasure.
So do I.
Good night, my dear. You can't miss Harvey. He's very tall. Like this.
The Simmons woman is uncooperative. She refuses to admit to me that she has this big white rabbit. She insists it's her brother's. Right, then I suppose just give her 2 of these at 9, another at 10, and if she continues to be uncooperative, a trip to the Hydro Room at 8. 1 in the morning at 7. And we'll see if she won't be helpful, won't we, Doctor?
Yes, doctor.
All right, you know where to call me if you need me. Ready, Pet?
Yes, Willie. Oh, Willie, there's a man that was just in here. A man named... Oh, let me see. His card was right here. Dowd. O.P. Dowd.
That's Mrs. Simmons' brother. I gave him full visiting privileges and told me to take a look around.
Oh, no, she mustn't see anyone. No one at all. Tell him that.
Yes, doctor.
He didn't ask to see her. He's looking for someone, some friend of his.
Could that be Dr. Sanderson?
Oh, I don't know. Was anybody with Dowd when you saw him?
Not when I saw him, Doctor.
Well, he said there was. He said he saw his friend sitting right in that chair with his hat and his coat. Seemed quite disappointed.
Dr. Sanderson.
I told him if we located his friend, we could give him a lift in town. Was that all right, Willie?
Of course, of course.
He wouldn't give me a last name. He said something else about his friend. Who got? I didn't quite get what that was.
Harvey!
He said his friend was very tall and... Why are you looking like that, Willie? This was just a nice plain man, and he merely asked if we could give his friend a lift in town, and if we can't do a favor for someone, why would we?
When was he here, Mrs. Chumley? Where did he go?
By George, give me that hat. We'll find out about this.
I don't know where he went. It was just a second ago.
Henry, main gate, Dr. Sanderson.
Gaffney, Judge Gaffney.
Henry, did a man in a brown coat go out through the main gate a minute ago? He did?
Judge Gaffney! Yes, it's Dr. William Chumley. I'm calling to make a routine checkup on a spelling of a name before we entered into our logs. Yes, a client of yours was brought out here to be committed. I was wondering if it was a U or a W, one Elwood P. Dowd? Right! Thank you. Dr. Sanderson! Your name is Dr. Sanderson. So you know that much, do you? And you attended medical school, and you graduated, and you went forth. Perhaps they neglected to inform you that a rabbit has large, pointed ears and that a hat for said red would have to be perforated to make room for those ears.
That seemed reasonable enough this afternoon, Doctor.
Doctor, the function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between one who is reasonable and one who is merely trying to talk and act reasonably. Now do you realize what you've done to me? You allowed a psychopathic case to walk up these grounds with an overgrown white rabbit, and you have subjected me, a psychiatrist, to calling of all things a lawyer to find out who came out here this afternoon to be committed and who came out here to commit.
Dr.
Well,
Sam.
wait, I watch you. And now I will have to do something I have not done in 15 years. I will have to go out into the world to find this Elwood P. Down and bring him back here. And when I do, your connection to this institution is ended. As of that moment. Now, Wilson, please bring the car around. Pet, call the McClures and tell them that we can't make it. And Miss Kelly, come upstairs with me and we'll get this woman out of the tub.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, I'll have to tell Coco we'll be home for dinner. She'll be furious. Wilson,
Yes, ma'am?
what's a puka?
What?
A puka.
You can search me, Miss Charlotte.
I wonder if it'd be in this encyclopedia here. Everything in here. I wonder if it's a lodge or what it is. Oh, I don't dare stop to do this now. If Dr. Chunley finds me still here when he comes down, he'll be, oh dear.
Puka. From old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit animal was very large. The puka appears here and there, to this one and that one, at its own caprice, a wise but mischievous creature. Very fond of rum pots, crack pots, and how are you, Mr. Winston? And how are you, Mr. Wilson? Who in the encyclopedia wants to know? To hell with it.
That's right, the stairs at the end of the hall. It goes to the third floor. Go right up, I'll be with you in a minute.
Well, where is she?
Where's who? Whom do you mean, Judge Daphne? Sit down, won't you?
I mean your mother. Where's Vita Louise?
Why, Judge Daphne, you know where she is. She went out to the sanitarium to put Uncle Elwood in.
I know that, but why did she call me at the club with a lot of hysteria? I couldn't even get what she was going on about. She was carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on. What about?
No, she was hysterical.
That's strange. She took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it? I'll be right up. They found it.
Who? Found what?
When Mother left with Uncle Elwood, I went over to the real estate office and put the house on market. And what do you think I found there?
I'm not pleased.
Well, I found a man who's looking for a house just like this to turn into buffet apartments. He's going through it now.
Now see here, Myrtle, this house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
But now that Uncle Elwood is locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where's your mother? Where's Vita Louise?
Judge, she went out to Chumley's Rest to tell them about Harvey and put Uncle Elwood in.
I know that, but why did she call me at the club and scream at me to meet her here about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Have you got the deed to this house?
Certainly, it's in my safe. Myrtle, I feel bad about this whole thing of locking Elwood.
Mother and I are leaving to take a long trip now. Out to Pasadena.
Yeah, I always liked that boy. He could have done anything, been anything, made a place for himself in this community.
And all he did was get a big rabbit.
He had everything. Brains, personality, friends. Men liked him, women liked him.
Hold on. Are you telling me that Uncle Elwood was like other men? That women actually liked him? I mean, in that way?
Not since he started running around with that rabbit, but once they did. Once that mailbox of your grandmother's was full of those little blue scented envelopes for Elwood.
I can't believe it.
Oh, but he was always different from other men.
I don't doubt that.
Yes, he always stuck so well that in sudden change, I used to admire it. I should have been suspicious. Take your average man seeing a big white rabbit. He'd do something about it, but not Elwood, who took that comment too. And look where.
You don't dream how far overboard he's gone on this rabbit.
Oh, yes, I do. He's had that rabbit in my office many's a time. I'm old, but I don't miss much. What's that noise?
Oh, the prospective buyer on the 3rd floor.
Peter Louise, what's wrong, girl?
I never thought I'd see either of you again. Take hold of her, Judge. She looks like she's going to faint. Now, Mother, you're all right. You're going to be perfectly all right.
Easy, girl, easy.
Please, not so fast.
Steady, steady.
Let me sit down. Only get me some place where I can sit down.
Easy, right? Easy.
The gas.
Would you like some tea, Vita? Get her some tea.
I'll get you some tea, Mother. Get her coat off, Judge.
Let Myrtle get your coat off. Myrtle, get her coat off.
Leave me alone. Let me sit here. Let me get my breath.
Let her get her breath, Judge.
Let me sit here a minute, and then let me get upstairs to my own bed, where I can let go.
What happened to you, Mother?
Oh no! I want you to see that. He puts me in and right now we're out.
What's this?
Mother!
Look at my hair.
Why? What did you say? What did you do? You must have done something.
I didn't do one thing. I simply told him about Elwood and Harvey.
And how could it have happened to you? I don't understand it.
I told him about Elwood, and then I went down to the path to get his things. As I was walking along the path, this awful man stepped out. He was a white slaver. I know he was. He had one of those white suits that tell they advertise.
Man! What did he do, Mother?
What did he do? He took hold of me, took me in there, and then he, oh God!
Vita Louise, go on.
Poor Mother. Was he a young man?
Myrtle, May, perhaps you'd better leave the room.
No, I should say not. Go on, Mother.
What did he do?
He took me upstairs and tore off my clothes!
Oh, did you hear that, Judge? Go on, Mother!
Oh my God, I'll sue them for this.
And then he sat me down in a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I always thought that what you were showed on your face. Don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle? This man took hold of me like I was a woman in the streets. But I fought. I always said that if a man jumped out at me, I'd fight. Haven't I always said that, Myrtle?
She's always said that, Judge. That's what she always told me to do.
And then he hustled me into that sanitarium and set me down in a tub of water and began treating me like I was
Oh, what?
a crazy woman. But he did that just for spite.
Oh, what? I'll be damned.
And those doctors came upstairs and asked me a lot of questions all about sex and all that filthy stuff. Oh, that place ought to be cleaned up, Omar. You better get the authorities to clean it up. Don't you ever go out there. You hear me?
Oh, this stinks high to heaven, Vita. By God, it stinks.
You've got to do something about it, George. You've got to sue them.
Oh, by God, girl, I will. If Chumley thinks he can run unsavory place like that on the outskirts of town, he ought to be publicly chastised. Oh, by God, I'll run him out of the state.
Tell me, Judge, is that all those doctors do at places like that? Think about sex!
Oh, I don't know.
Because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their head anyway. Why don't they get out and go for long walks in the fresh air? Judge Gaffney walked everywhere for years, didn't you, Judge?
Let me take some notes on this. You said these doctors came up to talk to you, Dr. Sanderson, and what was the other's name?
Chumley. But Sanderson, don't pay attention to anything he tells you. He's a liar. Close-set eyes. They're always liars. Besides, I told him something in strictest confidence, and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
Oh, what difference does it make? Let's forget it. I don't want to talk about it. You can't trust anybody.
Anything you told this Dr. Sanderson, you can tell us. This is your daughter, and I am your...
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it. I want you to sue them. I don't want to get into my own bed.
But, Mother, this is the important thing anyway. Where is Uncle Elwood?
I should have known better than to try to do anything about him. Something protects him. That awful puka!
Where is Uncle Elwood? Answer me.
How should I know? They let him go. They're not interested in men in places like that. Don't act so naive, little man. What's that noise?
I found a buyer
do you take him, Judge? Wait till Elwood hears what they did to me. He won't stand for it. Don't forget to sue them, Judge. Myrtle May, all I hope is that never, never as long as you live, a man pulls the clothes off you and dumps you down into a tub of water.
Now see, Mother mucked everything. No matter what happened out there, you still gotta find Uncle Elwood and Harvey.
The thing for me to do is take some minutes.
This is all Uncle Elwood's fault. He knew what she was up to, and he had to put in. Then he ran.
Now, don't talk like that. Your Uncle Elwood thinks the world and all of your mother. Ever since he was a little boy, he wanted to share everything he had with her.
I'm not giving up. We'll get detectives. And besides, you better save some of that sympathy for me and Mother. You don't know what we had to go through. Wait till I show you something he brought home about 6 months ago. We had to hide it out in the garage. You just wait.
I'm going up to talk to her. There's more in this than she's telling me. I sense that.
Wait till I show you, Judge.
I'll wait.
Okay, is he here?
What's this?
That crackpot with the rabbit, is he here?
No, and who may I ask? Are you?
Not here, Doctor. Alright. Dr. Chumley's coming in anyway. What's your name?
Chumley. Well, I've got something to say to him.
What's your name?
I'm Judge Gaffney. Where's Chumley?
The reason I asked your name is the doctor always likes to know who he's talking to. This guy says his name is Judge Gaffney, Doctor.
Well, Chumley.
Judge, let's not waste time. Has he been here?
Who? Elwood? No, but...
Sure you've been here? He's
No.
fine. He's wise now. He's fine. It'll be an awful job to smoke him out.
It will be difficult. They're smart and they're cunning. When I find them, I always find them. Have you got a list of places we've been, Wilson?
Right here, Doctor.
Read it.
We've been 17 bars. Eddie's place, Charlie's place, Bessie's Bar and Dance, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 9th, 10th, 12th Avenue Firehouses, just to be sure, the Union Station, the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go down to the grain elevator?
The foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends in many places.
Look, we've just stopped in to see if Mrs. Simmons might have any other places we've looked for her brother.
Doctor, I have to inform you that Mrs. Simmons has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
For what happened this afternoon at the sanitarium?
A suit?
And while we're on that subject...
That's pretty, ain't it, Doctor? After I was dragging our tails all over town trying to find that guy.
What happened at the sanitarium this afternoon was an unfortunate mistake. I've discharged the employee who made it, and I'm prepared to take personal charge of this case. You see, it interests me, and my interest in the case is something no amount of money can buy.
But this business this afternoon, Doctor?
Water under the dam. The important item now is that I find this man and I bring him back out to the sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right, Judge. That's just what I think.
Let me introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons, Mr. Dad's niece, Mrs. Simmons' daughter.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
How do you do, Miss Simmons?
Oh, Myrtle.
What? Oh,
Now, please let me talk to Mrs. Simmons.
Mother won't come down. I know she won't. Why don't you try to get her down, Judge?
See here, Myrtle, your mother was manhandled. She was, God knows what she was. This man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Well, now that is a serious claim, isn't it?
Dr. Chumley, I've been working with you for 10 years, and you're gonna take the word of... Sorry, what's your name again?
Gaffney, Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thanks. And you're gonna take the word of this old blister Gaffney Wilson over me? Me and the dame who sees a rabbit?
It's not Mrs. Simmons who sees the rabbit. It's your brother.
Yes, it's Uncle Elwood.
If you'll come with me, Doctor.
Very well, Judge. Wilson, I have a situation here, so you wait.
Okay, Doctor. So your name's Myrtle?
What? Oh, yes.
You know, if you grab your uncle, you're allowed to come down to the office on visitors.
Oh, I don't really know.
And if you do, I'll be there.
Oh, you will?
Sure. If you don't see me right away, stick around. I'll show you.
You will? Oh.
Yeah. Listen, you hear Dr. Chumley tell me to wait?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I sure could use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Oh, certainly. If you'll forgive me, I'll proceed you into the kitchen.
Yes, sir. You're all right, Myrtle.
What?
Dr. Chumley noticed it right away.
What?
I'll tell you something else. Not only got a nice build, but kid, you got something else too.
And what would that be?
You got the screwiest uncle I've ever seen.
Oh.
Hello, Chumley's Rest. Is Dr. Chumley there? Oh, it's Miss Chumley. How are you this evening? This is Ellen P. Dowd speaking. Tell me, were you able to locate Harvey? Don't worry about it. I'll find him. I'm sorry to have missed you at the McClure cocktail party. The people were all charming and I was able to leave quite a few of my cards. I stayed until you said that you couldn't come because a patient had escaped. Where am I? I'm here. But I can't be staying long. I must be finding Harvey. Good night, my dear. My regards to you and anyone you may come across. Goodbye now.
Well, I suppose if you have the money, you can convince people to do anything.
Well, Dr. Chumley, when you helped me out of the tub at your place, what did I say to you?
You expressed yourself. I don't remember the exact
I
words.
said, Dr. Chumley, this is a belated civility. Isn't that what I said?
You said something else.
Well, you brought this up, so you may as well learn something quick. I took a course in art this last winter. The difference between a fine oil painting and a mechanical thing like a photograph is simply this. A photograph shows us only the reality. A painting shows us not only the reality, but the dream behind it. It's our dreams that keep us going, that separate us from the beasts. I wouldn't even want to live like I was all just eating and sleeping and taking off my clothes, while putting them back on again. Oh, Doctor! Oh,
Just don't get excited now. What's the problem?
Doctor, that is not my mother!
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, Dr. Allen's been here! He's been here!
Just quiet now. I'll take it. Yes. Hello? Who's calling? Mrs. Simmons, it's your brother.
Oh, let me talk to him.
Just be casual. Don't mention I...
Hello, Edward. Where are you? What? Oh, just a minute. He won't say where he is. He wants to know if Harvey's here.
Tell him Harvey's here.
But he isn't.
Tell him Harvey's here, and then he'll come here.
Yes, dear. Harvey is here. Why don't you come home? Oh? 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 Well, all right. It won't work. He says for me to call Harvey to the telephone.
Then tell him Harvey's here, but he can't come to the telephone. Tell him he's in the bathroom.
Bathtub?
Say he's in the bathtub, and that you'll send him over there. That way we'll find out where he is.
Oh, Doctor!
Please, Miss Simmons, you've got to do it.
Hello, Elwood. Yes, dear. Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone. He's in the bathtub. I'll send him over as soon as he's dry. Where are you? Where, Elwood?
Did he hang up on you?
Harvey just walked in the door. He told me to look in the bathtub and must be a stranger. But I know who he is. He's over at Charlie's place. That's over at the bar at 12th and Main.
12th and Main. That's 2 blocks down and 1 over, isn't it?
Doctor, where are you going?
I'm going over there to get your brother and bring him out to the sanitarium where he belongs.
Oh, Dr. Chumley, don't do that. Send one of your attendants. I'm warning you.
But if I'm to help your brother...
There's no help for him. He cannot be helped. He must be picked up, locked up, and left.
Do you consider your brother to be a dangerous man?
Oh, dangerous.
Why?
I won't tell you why, but if I didn't, why would I be asking for a permanent commitment for him?
Then I must speak to this man. I must look this man in the face as he speaks to this big white rabbit. He does speak to him, didn't you say?
They tell each other everything.
What?
I said, of course he talks to him.
underestimate me, Mrs. Simmons.
Oh no, Doctor, you underestimate my brother.
Not at all, but don't worry, I can handle it.
You can handle him? That's what you think. Oh. Myrtle Bay, see who's in the bathtub. Oh!
Thank you, I may call later.
Is that everything, Doctor? What about upstairs?
All packed. Thanks, Wilson.
It's tough you're getting bounced. I had you pegged for the one in the grid.
Those are the breaks.
What are you taking off?
As soon as Dr. Chumley gets back.
Did you hear back from the desk sergeant at the police accident room yet?
Not yet. I just talked to the downtown dispensary. They still haven't seen him.
This smelled awful funny to me. 4 hours has been gone not working. Now I'll see you again, Doctor. So I'm wishing you a wild luck, and I'm mighty sorry about that kick in the keister.
Thanks, Wilson. Good luck to you, too.
Listen, Kelly, let me know when you hear back from the desk sergeant. If there's no word from the doctor, I'm going in after. You should know better than to go after a cycle without me.
I'd like to help look for the doctor, too, Wilson.
That's nice of you, Doctor. But after abusing the brush,
I've no resentment against Dr. Chumley. He was right, I was wrong. Dr. Chumley is the biggest man in his field. It's my loss not to be able to work with him.
you'd also smell yourself, Doctor.
Thanks, Wilson.
Do much.
Dr. Sanderson?
Yes?
Well, I just like to say that I wish you a lot of luck too, and I'm sorry to see you go.
Are you sure you can spare these good wishes, Miss Kelly?
On second thought, I guess I can't. Forget it.
This is for nothing, Kelly. Just a little bit of free advice. I'd be a bit more careful about the kind of company I kept if I were you.
I beg your pardon, Doctor?
Oh, you don't have to. I said it was free. I saw you dancing with that drip down in the Rose Room at the Frontier Hotel.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice you.
I'd be a little careful of him, Kelly. You look to me like a schizophrenic all the way across the floor.
You really shouldn't have paid him any mind, Doctor. He was my date, not yours.
Well, that was his mentality. The rest of it, though.
But she was beautiful, though.
True.
That girl you were with?
Oh, I didn't notice.
You bumped into us twice. How could I help it?
Not that it makes any difference to you, but that young lady has a sweet disposition, and she really knows how to conduct herself.
Funny she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I don't suppose you're to be censured for your flippant hard shell. You're probably compensating for something.
I am not, and don't you use any of your psychiatry on me.
Oh, if I could just try something else on you. Just once! Just to see if you'd melt under any sort of pressure. I doubt it.
You'll never know, Doctor.
Because you interest me as a case history. That's all. I want to see where you get that inflated ego.
If you aren't the meanest person, inflated ego case history!
Don't run, let's finish it!
Leave me alone!
Gladly.
Chumley's rest! Yes, Sergeant. No accident report on him either in town or the suburbs. Look, Sergeant, perhaps... Oh, never mind, Sergeant, they're here now. Mr. Dowd.
Good evening, my dear. These are for you.
For me? Oh, thank you.
They're quite fresh, too. I just picked them outside.
I do hope Dr. Chumley didn't see you there, his prized dahlias. Did he go upstairs?
Not knowing I cannot state. Those colors look lovely against your hair.
I've never worn burnt orange. It's such a trying color.
You would improve any color, my dear.
Did Dr. Chumley go up to his house?
I don't know. Is Dr. Sanderson here?
Yes, he should be in his office, right there.
Thank you.
Dowd, there you are!
I have a cab outside. It's possible for you and Miss Kelly to get away now.
Where's Dr. Chumley?
Is he coming with us? That's nice.
I don't know, Doctor.
I must apologize for being a few seconds late. I thought Miss Kelly here should have some flowers. After I have that here tonight, Doctor, the flowers really should be for you. As pretty women pass you by, when you grow older, you'll think with deep gratitude of these generous girls over you. Now, shall we go now?
Just a minute, Wilson. The situation has changed since we last saw you this afternoon. But I urge you to hold no resentments against Dr. Chumley. He's your friend and he only wants to help you.
That's nice of him. I want to help him too.
Now, if you'll begin by taking a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle. We all have to face reality now, sooner or later.
Doctor, I've wrestled with reality for 40 years. And I'm glad to say I finally won over it. Now, shall we go downtown?
There you are. Upstairs, buddy. Going upstairs. Is the doctor okay?
There must be some mistake. Miss Kelly, Dr. Sanderson, and I were all going down to Charlie's to have a drink. I'd be glad to have you join us, Mr.
Wilson.
Wilson. They have a wonderful floor show.
Yeah? Well, wait until you see the floor show we've got. Upstairs, buddy.
Just a minute, Wilson. Where did you say Dr. Chumley went down?
As I said, he did not confide his plans to me.
You mean the doctor ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked in here by himself.
Oh, he did, huh? Listen, you talk fast or I'm working you over.
I'd rather you didn't do that. I'd rather not even mention such a thing in the presence of a lovely young lady such as Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dell, Dr. Chumley went into town to look for you. That was 4 hours ago.
Where is the evening gone to?
Say that. Smart.
Just a minute, Wilson. Did you see Dr. Chumley tonight, Dad?
Yes, I did. He came into Charlie's place around dinner time. It's a cozy spot. Let's all go there now and talk it over at the tall one.
We're going nowhere. No, I'm asking you a question, and if you don't button up your lip and give me some straight answers, I'm gonna have to beat you.
What you ask is impossible.
What's that?
You want me to button up my lip and give you some straight answers. It can't be done.
Let me handle this, Wilson.
Handle it then. Find out where the doctor is.
So you say Dr. Chumley did go into Charlie's place?
Yes, I did. And I was very glad to see him.
Go on.
He had asked for me, and naturally the proprietor brought him over. We exchanged the conventional greetings. I said, "How do you do, Dr. Chumley?" He said, "How do you do, Mr. Dowd?" I believe we exchanged that one at least once.
Okay.
I'm trying to be fast. Then I introduced him to Harvey.
To who?
A big white rabbit, 6 feet tall.
6 feet.
6 feet 1.5.
Okay, fool around with him. Now the doctor is someplace bleeding to death in a ditch.
If those were his plans for the evening, he did not tell me.
Go on now.
Dr. Chumley sat in the booth with us. I was seated on the outside like this. Harvey was on the inside near the window, and Dr. Chumley was across from him where he could look at him.
Right, so I'll have the seating arrangements.
Then Harvey suggested that I buy him a drink. Knowing that he does not like to drink alone, I suggested to Dr. Chumley that we join him.
Okay.
So we joined him.
Go on.
And we joined him again.
Then
He kept right on joining.
skip over the joint, would you?
You were asking me to skip a very significant part of the evening.
Just tell us what happened, please.
Dr. Chumley got into a conversation with Harvey, quietly at first, but then it became rather heated and Dr. Chumley raised his voice.
Yep. Why?
Harvey seemed to think that Dr. Chumley should assume part of the financial responsibility of the joining. But Dr. Chumley didn't seem to want to do that.
I can believe that part of it.
No, let him talk. See how far we go. This guy's got guts.
I agreed to take the whole thing because I didn't want any trouble. We go there quite often, Harvey and I. And the proprietor is a fine man with an interesting approach to life. And that's when the other matter came up.
Cut the damn double talk, no.
Mr. Wilson, you are a sincere type of person, but I must insist you refrain from such language around this table.
You're right, Dad, and we're sorry. But you say the other matter came up?
Yes, a beautiful blonde woman, a Miss Smithles and her escort. They were seated at the booth across from us. Dr. Chumley went over to talk to them, saying that they had once met in Chicago. Her escort then escorted Dr. Chumley back to us, saying that he better mind his own affairs. Does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Does he have any affairs?
How would I know?
Please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all so worried.
Dr. Chumley then urged Harvey to go with him down to Blondie's Chicken Inn. Harvey wanted to go to Eddie's instead. While they were talking it over, I went to the bar to get them a drink, and when I came back, they were gone.
Where'd they go? Where'd the doctor go?
I'm not sure. I had a date out here with Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly, so I came to pick them up, hoping that later in the evening you might run into them and make a party of it.
So, you satisfied? You got a story? Okay, you're lying and we know it.
I never lied, Mr. Wilson.
You've done something with the doctor and I found out what it is.
Don't touch him, Wilson!
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
Do you two actually believe this story's told about the doctor sitting there talking to a big rabbit?
Perhaps Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
And saw a big rabbit, I suppose.
And why not? Harvey was there. At first, the doctor seemed a little frightened of him, but it grew into an admiration as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That is a nice expression. With your permission, I'll say it again. The evening wore on.
Okay, with your permission, I'm gonna knock your teeth down your throat.
Mr. Wilson, have you some friends you can all play with?
The nerve of this guy! He couldn't come down here with an ordinary case of DTs. No, he has to come down here with that rat.
Stimulating as this all is, I really must be getting downtown.
Charlie's place? Is Dr. Chumley still anywhere around there? He was with Mr. Dowd earlier this evening. What? Well, don't bite my head off! My, that man was mad. He said that Mr. Dowd was welcome back any time, but his friend was not.
That's Mr. McNulty, the bartender. He's fond of me. Let's go there now and talk over the drink.
No, wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd.
Yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Poor Mrs. Chumley is so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you please try and remember something? Something that might help her? Please?
For you, my dear, I would do anything. I would always be willing to live my life all over again. Almost. But I've told you all already.
You're sure?
Quite sure. But ask me again. I like that warm tone in your voice.
So did I.
Nuts! Nuts!
Oh, I must be going. I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it that you do?
Harvey and I sit in the bars, and we have a drink or two and play the jukebox. Soon the faces of the other people are coming up to me and saying, I don't know your name, mister, but you sure are a lovely fellow. Harvey and I warm ourselves to these golden moments. We have entered as strangers, soon we have friends. They sit with us, they drink with us, they talk with us. They tell about the big, terrible things they've done, the big, wonderful things they will do, their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates. All very large, because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. Then I introduce them to Harvey, and he is bigger and grander than anything they offer me. When they leave impressed. The same people seldom come back. But that's envy, my dear. There's a bit of envy in the best of us. Too bad, isn't it?
How did you happen to call him Harvey?
Harvey is his name.
Yes, but how do you know that?
That's a rather interesting coincidence, Alfred. One night, several years ago, I was walking down Fairfax Street, between 18th and 19th. Do you know that block?
Yes.
I had just helped Ed Hickey into a taxi. Ed had been mixing his rhyme with his gin, and I felt that he needed to convey. So, I was walking down the street, and I hear a voice say to me, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." I turn around, and there is a great white rabbit leaning up against a lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of it, because when you have lived in a town as long as I have lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. So we stood there and we talked, and eventually I said, "You have the advantage over me. You know my name, but I don't know yours." Right back at me, he asked, "Well, what name do you like?" I didn't have to think about it a second. For as long as I can remember, Harvey has always been my favorite name. So I said, "Harvey." And this is the interesting part of the whole thing. He said, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
What was your father's name, Dowd?
John Friedrich.
When you were young, you had a playmate, somebody whom you spent many fond, carefree hours with.
Oh yes, didn't you?
What was his name?
Vern McElhinney. Did you ever know McElhinney's doctor?
No.
Too bad. There are a lot of them. And they circulated.
Think, Dowd. Wasn't there ever somebody, somewhere, sometime, someplace, whom you ever knew by the name of Harvey? Wasn't there ever anybody by that name?
No, doctor. Not one. Maybe that's why I've always had such hopes for it.
All right, Wilson. Let's take Mr. Dowd upstairs.
You're not taking him anywhere. Let him sit here, forget about Dr. Chumley. It's your show, you run it.
All right. Let's go, Dowd. Let's go, Elwood.
Very well, Lyman. But I mustn't stay for long. I promised Harvey I would take him to the floor show.
Dr. Chumley? Are you okay?
Okay, of course I'm okay. Why would you say that? I'm being followed, so lock that door.
Who's following you?
None of your business.
What'd you get out here, Doctor? I just saw you go in there.
Wilson, I went out through my window. Now, please, don't leave me.
No, Doctor.
Now, please get that man down and out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
No, don't leave me. Just get Dumpy on the telephone.
Yes, Doctor. Yeah, Dumpy. Get that man down his clothes and get him down here right away. One minute, Doctor. It's Gaffney.
I want to see Dr. Chumley.
Hey, Myrtle.
Doctor, this is serious.
It certainly is.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go to talk?
Not here.
Doctor's in his office.
No, sir.
Then sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down now.
Yes, just sit down, right?
Now, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is that good?
Yes. So, Dr. Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might possibly be something like this rabbit Harvey?
Of course there isn't. And anybody who thinks so is crazy. But don't be like that. There's nothing funny about it. I'm like my father's family. They're all dead.
Now, here are my notes. The facts. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now, my client, the plaintiff, Miss Vita Louise Simmons, swears under oath on the morning of November the 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her home, hearing her name called, she turned and saw this great white rabbit Harvey. Resenting the intrusion, the plaintiff made certain remarks to drive the creature away. He went.
What did she say?
She was in fact remarked Sarnat.
I just want to know how she got this creature out of her sanitarium. Out of her home. I should have that up.
I hate to have to tell him, Judge. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Come on, just let's have it.
She looked the creature right in the eye, and in the heat of anger she screamed, "To hell with you!"
To hell with him. And he left?
Yes, he went. But that's besides the point. The point is it perjury or is it something we can cope with? I ask for your opinion.
Ruthie! I've been looking all over for you!
Dr. Sanderson! I'd like you to disregard what I told you this afternoon. I want you on my staff. You're a very astute young man.
Oh, Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby!
See you later.
You just have to keep him out here, Doctor.
Well, no, I want my sanitarium the way it was before that man came out here this afternoon.
I know what you mean.
You?
I mean, it would care if anyone stares the way Uncle Elwood knows something will happen before it happens. This morning, for instance, Uncle Elwood told me that Harvey told him that Mrs. Micklehenney's Aunt Rose would drop in unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland.
And did she?
Did she what?
This Aunt Rose, did she come just as Harvey said she would?
Oh yes, those things always happen like Uncle Elwood predicts them. But what of it? What do we care about the Micklehennys?
You said this sort of thing happens often.
Oh yes, and isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says that Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. How could he when there is no such thing as Harvey?
Fly smacks, I've been living my life among fly smacks. What miracles! I've been living on lampposts on 18th and Fairfax.
good. Nobody here but people.
Around here this afternoon.
Good evening. I brought Merlin and I brought Elwood's bathroom. But why are you all just standing? I thought you'd be committing him.
Take a seat.
I will not sit down there.
Merlin, how about you and me step outside here?
Certainly not. Merlin, come here.
I'm sorry.
Is everything settled?
It will be.
Doctor, may I offer an opinion?
Oh, yes, please.
His opinion! Oh, he's the doctor I told you about. The eyes!
It's my opinion that Elwood P. Dowd is suffering from a third-degree hallucination of the other party involved, suffering from autosuggestion. I recommend shot formula 977 for him and bed rest at home for
You do.
That's my diagnosis, doctor. Your brother will not see this rabbit anymore after the injection. We've used it in hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Don't you call my brother a psychopathic case! There's never been anything like that in our family!
If you did think he was so psychopathic, why did you bring him back here?
Where else could I take him? I couldn't take him to jail, could I? Besides, this is not your uncle's fault. Why did Harvey have to talk to him in the first place? With the town full of people, why did he have to bother Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in. Take your oar out. If this shock formula takes him back to reality, give it to him. That's where we want him.
Dr. Sanderson, I'm not sure that it would work in a case of this kind.
It always has.
Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does.
Yes, but if you give him the formula and Elwood doesn't see Harvey, he won't let him in. Then when he comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Mother, will you please stop acting as if there was such a thing as Harvey?
Well, then, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learned it.
He's coming.
Good evening.
Good evening, Elwood. I brought you your bathrobe.
Thank you, Peter.
Well, Doctor, what do we do? We've got to do something.
Oh, yes, we must.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative.
Well, while you're all figuring this out, why don't we go downtown and have a drink?
You're not going anywhere, Elwood. You're staying here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
You won't want me to stay. I want to leave. An element of conflict is good in any conversation. It means everyone is included and no one is not taking part. Oh, Doctor, how did you make out with Harvey?
What's your decision, Doctor?
What?
What do we do?
Right, well, I must be alone with this man. Would you all please step into the other room?
Do hurry, Doctor.
I will.
Stay here.
Oh, you stay here.
Please let me give you this chair, cigar. Can I get you anything else?
What did you have in mind?
Mr. Dowd, I was just curious what kind of a man you were. Where did you come from?
Didn't I give you one of my cards?
I just wanted to know where on the face of this tired old earth did you find a thing like him?
Harvey the Buddha?
Is it true that he has a function,
That he gets advance notice? I'm happy to say it is. Harvey is versatile. Harvey can stop clocks.
What?
You've heard that expression before, his face can stop a clock?
Yes, why? What purpose?
Harvey can look at you, and he can stop your clock. And you can go wherever you like, with whomever you like, and go as far as you like. And when you come back, not 1 second will have ticked by.
And does he do this for you?
He is willing to at any time, but so far I've never figured the need for it. I'm always happy wherever I am, whoever I'm with. I'm having a great time with you, Doctor. Corona.
Well, I know where I'd go.
Where?
Akron.
Akron.
Yes, there's a cottage camp outside Akron in a grove of maple trees. It's cool, it's green, it's beautiful.
My favorite kind of tree.
I would want to go there with a woman, a pretty woman, quiet.
Under a tree.
Yes, I wouldn't even want to know her name, and I would just be Mr. Brown.
Why would you want to know her name? If you knew her name, you might be acquainted with the same people.
Then I would send her for cold beer, and I would tell her things I've never told anyone, things locked in here. And then I would send her out for more cold beer.
No whiskey.
Beer is better.
Maybe under a tree, but you might prefer a highball.
Oh no, I wouldn't let her talk to me. As I talked, I would want her to reach out a soft white hand and stroke my head and say, "Oh, you poor thing, you poor thing."
How long would you want that to go on?
2 weeks.
Where do they get monotonous, just Akron, beer, and poor thing for 2 weeks?
No, it would not. It would be wonderful.
I still think you're making a mistake with all that whiskey and no beer. But I also think you're a mistake not letting her talk. If she gets around at all, she might have picked up some interesting little news items.
God, just cold beer at Akron and one last fling.
Do you want to lay down, Doctor?
No, thank you. Would he do this for me?
He could, and he might. I never heard him say a word against Akron. By the way, Doctor, do you know where he is?
Well, why don't you know who he is?
The last time I saw him, he was with you.
Ah,
No, he's probably down at Charlie's place.
yes, that's where he must be, down at Charlie's.
If you'll excuse me, Doctor.
Oh, no, not in there.
I couldn't leave without saying goodbye to Dr. Sanderson.
Mr. Depp, Dr. Sanderson is not your friend. None of these people are your friend. I am your friend.
Thank you, Doctor, and I'm yours.
And this sister of yours, she's at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. Just today, she had commitment papers drafted. She has your power of attorney and the key to your lockbox. I mean, she brought you out here.
My sister did all that in one afternoon? Vita certainly is a whirlwind.
God, man, have you any righteous indignation?
Doctor, my mother used to say to me, Elwood. She would always call me Elwood. She would say, Elwood, in this world, you can either be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. For years, I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me on that.
Just the same, but I'm willing to lock her up if it means protecting. Would you like me to do that?
No. Well, not that you don't have a nice place out here, but I think Vita would be more happy at home with me, Myrtle May, and Harvey. Miss Kelly, diviner grace has never enchanted this divine face. Ovid's fifth elegy. You'll never look more wonderful.
I'll never feel happier, Mr. Dowd, I know it. Yes, Doctor.
If I can remember any more of that poem.
Say, maybe this rabbit gag's a good one. I would never gets me.
Ovid has always been my favorite poet.
Okay, buddy, you're dismissed.
Wilson, take your hands off that man!
What?
Apologize to Mr. Dent.
Apologize to this guy with the rabbit.
Apologize.
I apologize. This is the door.
If I leave, I'll remember.
Just a minute. Damn, do women often just come up to you and kiss you as Miss Kelly did just now?
Never so often, yes.
Yes?
I encourage it, too.
Oh, to hell with decency, I've got to have that rabbit. Just go ahead and knock, Mr. Dad, please.
Dr. Sanderson.
Just a minute. Doctor, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes. Call him in.
Thank you. Mrs. Simmons, Judge Gaffney, could you step in here a moment, please?
Is it settled?
Yes, I find I concur with Dr. Sanderson.
Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a relief.
Good boy.
Well, while you're all celebrating, I have some bars listed in the back of this notebook.
This injection we have, it carries with it a violent reaction. We can't give it to him without his consent. Will he give it?
Of course you will, if I ask him.
But to give this rabbit, I doubt it.
Don't ask him. Just give it to her.
Bessie's barn dance. Better late than never. Long Beach chicken. Benny's drive-in.
Elwood!
Benny's drive-in it is. How many people were there, Vita? We'll have to vote ahead for a table.
Oh, Elwood!
Mr. Dent, we have an injection 977 that will be good for you. Will you take it?
But Elwood, you won't see this rabbit anymore.
But you will see your responsibilities, your duties.
Well, if you recommend it, Doctor, it must be a fine thing. And if I find anyone who might need it, I'll be happy to recommend it to them. For myself, though, I'm going to care for it.
Hear that, Judge? Hear that, Doctor? That's what we have to put up with!
Vita, do you want me to take this?
Elwood, I'm only thinking of you. You're my brother, and I've known you for years. Why? I'd do anything for you. That Harvey wouldn't do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you
in tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I never want to see another tomorrow! Now that Myrtle May and I have to live in the house with that rabbit, our friends never come to see us. We have no social life. We have no life at all. We're both miserable. I wish I were dead. But maybe you don't care.
I've always wanted Vita to have everything she wants. Vita, are you sure? I'll take it. Where do I go?
Just in Sanderson's office now.
Say goodbye to the old fellow for me, won't you?
How long will this take, Doctor?
It'll only be a minute. Why don't you wait here?
We'll wait.
Dr. Sanderson said it wouldn't take long.
No, Mother, don't fidget.
Oh, how can I help it?
How stunning! Mother, could you see the house without this material?
Oh, why, yes, dear! But let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in. What do you want?
I'm looking for a little short lady who jumped out of my cab without paying me.
Oh, yes, I forgot. How much is it?
All the way from here to town, $2.75.
$2.75. I could have sworn I brought my acquaintance with me. Oh, where is it? Myrtle, do you have any money?
I spent all the money Uncle Elwood gave me for my new hairdo for the party.
Judge, do you have $2.75 I could use to pay this man?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Dr. Chumley, do you happen to have $2.75 I could borrow to pay this cab driver?
I haven't got my wallet, and there's no time to make it now. Sorry, I have to get on with this injection.
Well, I'll get it for you from my brother, but I can't get it right now. He's in there to give you an injection. It won't be long. You'll have to wait.
You're gonna get my money from your brother, who's in there getting whatever it is they shoot out.
Yes, it won't be but a few minutes.
Lady, I want my money now.
But I told you it would only be a few minutes. I want you to drive us back to town anyway.
And I told you I want my $2.75. So you're gonna get it from your brother in there, or I'm gonna bring my cab back to town, and you could wait for a bus at 6 in the morning.
Well, of all the pig-headed stubborn things!
I should say so!
What's the matter with him?
Nothing $2.75 won't fix. Take it.
I've never heard of something so unreasonable in my life. This man needs to get some manners! Oh, Dr. Chumley, will you let Elwood step out here a minute? This cab driver won't wait.
Don't be too long.
Elwood, I cannot forget my coin purse. Will you give this man $2.75? But don't give him any more. He's been very rude.
How do you do? Dowd is my name. Elwood P.
Offering, each in mine.
This is my sister, Miss Vita Simmons, my lovely little niece, Myrtle May Simmons, Judge Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Cut out.
How long have you lived around here?
I lived around here my whole life.
Do you enjoy your work?
It's okay. Been driving with the Apex cabs for 15 years. My brother Joe's driving with Brown for around near 12.
That's interesting. You drive for Apex, but your brother drove for Browns. That's interesting, isn't it? Let me get you one of my cards.
Better go, mister.
Certainly. I live with my sister and my niece at this address. Want you and your brother come down for dinner sometime?
Sure.
When?
Couldn't do any night but Tuesdays.
You'll have to come down Tuesday then. My sister and I will expect you and be delighted to see you. Won't we, Vita?
Elwood, I'm sure this man has friends of his own.
Vita, one can't have too many friends.
Oh, Elwood, don't keep Dr. Chumley waiting. That's rude.
Certainly. Here you are. Keep the change.
Thanks.
Now if you'll excuse me.
Of course. Swell guy.
Certainly. You could just as well have waited.
Oh, no, lady. I've been driving this route for 15 years, and that stuff they get in there, it changes them.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Oh, no, you don't get it. On the way out here, we watch the birds, we look at sunsets. We look at sunsets when it's cloudy, and we look at the birds when there aren't any birds. And they tip. And afterwards, oh.
Afterwards, oh. What do you mean afterwards, oh?
Afterwards, they crab, they nag, they yell at me to drive faster, they scream at me to watch the traffic, to watch the lights. But it's the same driver, it's the same cab, it's the same route. They have no faith. After this, you won't be, lady. After this, you'll be a normal human. You know what bastards they are. I'm glad I met you. I'll wait.
Oh, Judge Gaffney! Oh, run away! Stop it! Stop it! Don't give it to him!
You can't do that. They're putting the injection in there.
Mother, stop this!
I don't want Ellen to have it. I don't want Ellen that way. I don't like people like that.
Judge, do something about her. Mother, stop.
You shut up! I lived longer than you have. I remember my father. I remember your father. I remember.
What is this? What is all this commotion?
Doctor. She's not nothing good.
She wants to stop the injection.
Doctor, you haven't already given it to him, have you?
No, but we are ready, so Wilson, take Mrs. Simmons away.
Leave me alone, Richard! Don't be late later!
You don't know what you want. You didn't want that rabbit either.
And what's wrong with Harvey? If Elwood and Myrtle and I want to live with Harvey, well, it's nothing to you. You don't even have to come around. It's our business. Elwood! Elwood! Oh!
There. Vita's all tired out. She's done a lot today.
I'm not giving up my game at the club again, no matter how big the animal is.
Oh, come on, Elwood. Let's get out of here. I hate this place. I wish I'd never seen it.
But see here, it's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
Why? Look at this. Oh, that's funny. I must have been there all the time. I could have paid that cab driver myself. Harvey. Come on, run away. Come on, Elwood. Hurry up.
Good night, Dr. Tony. Good night, Mr. Wilson.
Come along, Elwood.
Doctor, for years I've known what my family thinks of Harvey. But I've always wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. Oh, there you are. Excuse him, Doctor. You're in his way. Where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you.